All right, so let's just make a start. So just eyes closed, take a nice deep breath in. Pause at the top. And again, deep breath in. And pause at the top. And once more. So before we just move the body a little bit, I want you to just scan the body. It's as if you've got like a beam of light and you're going to go from the top of the head through, all the way through. And I want you to just notice how the body feels. Notice areas in the body where there may be a bit of tension, maybe there's an emotion that's a little bit stuck. Just noticing, so we're not analysing. I just want you to observe how the body's feeling. So really taking an inventory. And you might find that as you scan through the body, you get a yawn coming up or a sigh. Just let it release. So what we're doing is we're scanning our energy field. So if you imagine our body's like a weather system, a global weather system, and as we reach into different parts of the body, maybe there's something else going on, maybe there's a hurricane, or maybe there's a bit of sunshine. So just noticing the different patterns of energy. Lovely. So we're just going to move the body just a little bit and then we'll rescan. So turning the head to one side and then the other way. So working with the breath. Lovely. Now let's drop the chin as we exhale. Inhale all the way up. Exhale. Now let's keep the chin tucked in and gently circle. Change directions. Lovely, back to center. Let's twist to the right and just hold. I want you to take a breath in and hold the breath, so we're creating a bit more pressure. And then when you're ready, sigh out. Feel how the body kind of releases into that exhalation. Okay, let's go the other way. Breath in, hold the breath. And then when you're ready, release it with a sigh. Notice how the body literally moves 2 or 3 inches round. Lovely, back to center. And let's just move the spine as you were doing cat-cow. So inhaling, just coming forwards, making sure you're lifting that gaze, you're opening the throat area. Exhale. Lovely, spine nice and straight. Good, now just scan the body again. Notice the subtle changes after releasing some of the tension. And we're just going to work with a very simple breath to start with. So I want you to breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 6. In for 4, out for 6. And just allowing this breath to really bring you into the relaxation response. So shifting. And I want you to notice how the inhaled breath is very dynamic and it has a very different vibrational frequency to the exhaled breath, which is much more passive, much more calming. Good. Now I want you to just scan the body again. And I want you to scan for emotion that's present. So maybe there's a level of anxiety, maybe there is something that is concerning you at the moment. Whatever it is, just simply observing what is present in the physical vehicle. So remember, all of these emotions are forms of energy. And I want you to just see if you can tune into the frequency of that energy. And notice where you're feeling it. Notice whether when you connect to any noticeable energy, if when you really focus the mind on it, that you receive images from it or memories from it. And again, we're just observing it, so I don't want you to hold on to it, I just want you to observe as if you're watching a film. So it's not something that is, it's just something that you're observing as a story almost. And although sometimes the energy can be something that's a reactive pattern that's very present now, I want you to see if you can go into that energy and notice something that's much further back, like a pattern of behaviour that you've experienced before, much further back, maybe all the way back into childhood, and just seeing it as a vibrational frequency and recognising it. It might also be that actually you're recognising a new energy pattern. Maybe there's something higher up. Maybe there's something that you're recognising in the third eye, where you're tuning into a higher frequency and becoming more connected to a different vibrational pattern. Lovely. Now we're going to start to increase the exhalation into that area we're focusing on. What you might find is the area shifts and dissipates, and then you find another part of the body, anywhere, maybe anywhere, that you want to focus on and breathe into. And we're going to use the exhalation to surrender and release. So breathing in for 4, focus on the part of the body that you are tuning into. And then exhale for 6. So maybe that you want to surrender this exhalation and move the frequency of this energy, this pattern, this habitual pattern. Or it may be that it's a new sensation and you're just wanting to tune in to this different experience. And what we're trying to do is to let go of the conditioned mind and just experience. So breathing in for 4. Breathing out for 6. And we're going to start to increase that exhale now. So let's exhale for 8. You can stay with 6 if that's comfortable, that's absolutely fine. So I'm not prescribing it as such, I'm just suggesting it. And just get that sense of literally surrendering everything into the exhalation. So we're releasing control, we're letting go. Letting go of the pattern in the physical body, letting go of the pattern in the nervous system and the emotions and the mental patterns, and just observing. And you might find that if the energy is quite strong, that you actually just want to ask it what it needs to release. Notice if it responds back to you. Or if it's not something that you're releasing and it's something that you're experiencing anew, maybe just asking it what it's showing you. Just staying present to all those internal changes of energy. So it's not static, it's constantly changing, just focusing on the breath, observing the internal landscape as it changes. And then just shifting to another area. And again, having a dialogue with it. So the body's very intelligent. Just ask it a question. What does it need? What does it need to heal? What does it need to let go? What does it need to show you as a new experience? Be aware of any emotions that might be arising. And remember, we're just observing them. We're not trying to suppress them. We're not trying to avoid them, because they are just frequency. And sometimes when we try to avoid them, they just become bigger. So just welcome them all, as Rumi says, like a guest house. So the body's like a guest house, and sometimes there's a knock at the door, and then there's an anger comes in and it sweeps through. And sometimes these really powerful emotions are there to help clear us out. So just welcoming everything that you're experiencing rather than resisting it. Just observe it. The body is experiencing whatever it's experiencing. Just allow yourself to release the breath count and just work now with a natural breath. So be really intuitive, guiding the breath's energy into the areas of the body that are showing up, and allowing the breath to release in a way that feels totally natural. So it may not necessarily be through the nose, it may be through the mouth, it may be with a sigh, it may be that it comes out with tears, that's fine too. So all we're doing is we are transmuting trapped energy. Recognizing perhaps patterns of behavior that no longer serve our body and mind, and that we're just allowing it to be shown so that it can be released. And sometimes it's very subtle, and sometimes it's not subtle at all. Sometimes it's like being punched in the stomach and the body starts to shake and tears start to fall. Just whatever's there, just let it show itself. And notice how the more that you concentrate on the inner field, the landscape, that you're aware of this observer, that it's observing the physical body and the emotional body and the mind body. And it's almost like it's observing the entire experience of the physical vehicle. And it's almost like giving yourself a break. Stepping back from the reactive patterns when we're stuck in ego, which is the reaction to our senses, to what we hear, see, smell, taste, touch. It's just stepping back and recognizing patterns that are just based in reaction. So it becomes a reactive response, a trigger. So sometimes we might say, I was really triggered by something. So something externally might trigger us, but it triggers a pattern within us that is old, not new. So what we're searching for is the old patterns that have been laid down, some of them when we're very, very young, and just searching them out and going, do you know what? It helped when I was 6, but it's not helpful anymore. So I'm just going to let that energy go. And a lot of these patterns are I would say all of the patterns are based in fear. Fear of rejection, fear of not having, fear of lack, fear of not achieving, fear of being told we're not good enough, lots and lots of patterns. So just observing everything. And maybe that you're just focusing on one thing, that's fine. Or maybe that it's the landscape's changing quite rapidly and that you're clearing. It might also be that the mind screen, so that area, the dark space in front of the eyes, is like a rapid playing movie with lots and lots of different images that keep popping up, things that you maybe thought you'd forgotten about. And these images create holding patterns, so they're being shown in order for you to release them. So we're just going to scan for a little bit longer. So just holding that internal focus, noticing the subtle shifts of energy within you. You might notice that you release a specific memory, and then you notice maybe a very subtle vibration near the throat, which may be a shifting of energy where you've suppressed something and unable to speak your truth, and then that energy's coming up so that you can release and be empowered to speak your own truth. So just really notice what's happening in the physical vehicle. Lovely. Now we're just going to do 3 more breaths. Really focus. Lovely. Now let's bring our awareness to the physical vehicle now. So just going to let go of that focus for now and become much more aware of the body, the whole body, and be aware of the body in stillness. Notice how the breath changes when you're really focusing on the physical body and stillness. So really think about the word stillness. And there may come a point where the breath almost totally stops. And you literally just drop into this supportive stillness. Notice that we're observing the stillness, we're becoming the stillness, and there is the observer itself at the heart space, observing the stillness of the body. And how this quality of observing stillness draws us back to our source, our true nature. And also notice the deep silence. Notice the observing presence, observing both the stillness and the silence. And then there's this sense of spaciousness. Space beyond the limitations of the physical vehicle. But there's still this observing presence, this point within us that is this brilliant light at the heart space, the particle of infinity. And with your attention on that particle of light that is your true self having a human experience, we're going to use the sound to connect to it. So very gently chanting Om. Take a breath in.
And just resting, simply being the observing presence. And with your attention on that light within you, just bring the hands towards it. Keep the eyes closed and feel that sense of the hands being lost in the light because it's so bright. And as you inhale, sit the arms all the way up, down through the midline, back into the light. And namaste.